Salut, bonjour, and welcome to episode 24, I think, of francofille, a creative podcast. My name is Devin, and this is where I document my knitting, dyeing, and other fiber-related crafting. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry at bdevin. You can find me on Etsy. My shop name is francofille, and if you're looking for my designs and things like that, you can find them by searching francofille on Ravelry too. You can also find the podcast group on Ravelry if you search francofille in the groups tab, and that's where I post my show notes, other sorts of announcements. We've got the introductions thread and ask me anything or ask away thread. It's also where the knit along related threads are. So we've got, for our Summer of Sock Yarn knit along, we've got both a chatter and finished object threads, both of which are very active. So if you're knitting anything with sock yarn this summer, definitely post in there and you could win one of a couple really great prizes. Yeah, I think that's everything about the Ravelry group. Yeah, it's been another couple weeks since I last recorded an episode. New house is eating up all my time, as I keep using as my excuse, I think for the last 2 months now, maybe? Between moving and now getting settled, things have, the house has definitely occupied all of my attention, or at least most of it. I was hoping to record last week and then I can give one excuse after another. Jordan was out of town, and so I was kind of single puppy parenting for the week, which takes a lot more time than I was initially anticipating, but it was a lot of fun. Ezra's a good little guy. But yeah, so not a ton of knitting actually to show you this week, so it's also part of why I didn't record last week, between being busy and just not having a ton of content knitting wise to show you. I did finish something this morning, so I figured now would be a good time to record. And I kind of want to talk about a couple other things, like what I've been doing around the house, and sorry, I'm looking at yarn I've dyed up. It's not necessarily shop update stuff, but just kind of showing you what I've been playing around with in the dye pots. And then I also wanted to talk about or ask for some suggestions for a future project. So yeah, sit back, relax, and let's just dive right in. All right, so I'm gonna start with my finished object this week. And I just realized that I did not bring my sock blockers up from the basement. They're down in my, my craft room, which currently is not conducive to recording in. Eventually, I will start recording down there, but it looks like a basement, right? The lighting is good for a basement, but not good for recording. There's not quite enough down there, and it's mostly gray concrete walls, so I figured, if nothing else, you can look at my fireplace behind me or something. It's a little bit better than the basement, but anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. Yeah, I finished a pair of socks. Talking, so I need something to drink. I'm drinking some ginger ale. We'll see how well that goes. I finished my socks from the ball of West Yorkshire Spinners wool that I got from Mina in our podcaster swap, organized by Melissa of the Spicy Homemaker. So Mina was kind enough to send along this sock yarn in our swap package, and yeah, I cast it on basically immediately. And I am so excited with how these turned out. Yeah, I love it. I'm absolutely in love with them. I was just thinking this morning about how much I loved the sort of the muted rainbow palette. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but one of my good friends and I use this term when we're talking about clothes. It's style baby. Right, where it's kind of like things that are a mix between my style and her style. And they don't always turn out to be the most attractive articles of clothing or accessories, but when we find something that's a really good mix between the two of us, we call it a style baby. So I kind of feel like this yarn Right, sometimes style babies are great things like this yarn, but this yarn is almost like mine and Mina's style baby, right? Where it's rainbow like Mina likes, but it's also kind of muted and a little more toned down, which I think is definitely my sweet spot. So I love these socks. You can see I have woven the ends in a little bit. I like to graft them in along the toe line there. But they still need to get trimmed up and fully woven in. But yeah, what to say about these? 2x2 cuff for about 20 rows or so. Fish lips kiss heel, right? And then just a standard pointed toe. Kitchenered that just maybe 20 minutes ago. So yeah, one more entry of my own for the Summer of Sock Yarn Knit Along. I'm not actually obviously posting anything in any of the threads. So I'm not actually entering my own knit along, but I am definitely knitting along with you guys in spirit. But yeah, it's nice to have a finished object in the new house. It's a project that was started and finished now in the new house, and that kind of feels pretty good. Yeah, I'm amazed by how soft this yarn is. Everything I've heard about Blueface Leicester, which is a good chunk of the proportion of the wool, or of them, makes up a good chunk of the wool content in this yarn, is that it's very durable, but it can be a little bit scratchy. But I don't know, this stuff is amazing. It's super, super, super soft. Like I could imagine knitting like a hat or mittens or something like that out of it. Right, something where I would normally want something a little bit softer because it's so close to very sensitive skin, you know what I mean? So yeah, great wool. Thank you, Mina. Super excited about those socks, and I will definitely be getting a lot of wear out of them. Trying to think, that's actually, I think, all of the knitting. No, I actually did do a little bit of other knitting. I'm gonna get up and grab that real quick. That's actually not all the knitting I did. I thought it was, but then I remembered I got a little bit more done on that other pair of socks that I've been working on as well. But again, just like I said last week, I just haven't had a ton of knitting time, unfortunately, lately. As much as I really wish that weren't the case. So the other pair of socks that I've been working on, I think last time I was able to show you guys the other sock finished. I think I had 2 hose last episode, but if not, if I didn't actually get to show you guys that, this one is finished as well. This sock, single sock. Can you tell I've been painting? There is paint all over my Fitbit. Anyway, so one sock done here. This is the sock blank of my own that I dyed and I've been working on. And then I've got a cuff. Sorry, I'm watching out the front window. We're about to get a package from UPS. The guy's backing into our driveway now. But yep, so I've got the cuff done on that second sock. And I still have a good chunk of this sock blank left. And I am gonna pause this for a minute so the UPS guy does not think I'm insane, since he'll be able to see me quite clearly through our front windows. So this is my view while I'm recording right now, and you can see that, yeah, you guys are wobbling a lot there. Yeah, big window. I can definitely see whoever's coming up our driveway, and they can see me too, so. Sorry, Mr. UPS guy, if I creeped you out a little. All right, so that interruption is over. Like I said, I've got the other cuff done on these. Another 2x2 rib, another 20 or so rows of ribbing, and then you can see there's a little bit of a knit purl pattern in there that corresponds. It's kind of spiraling in the same direction that the color pooling is happening in. So that's kind of fun. Again, it's gonna be fish lips kiss heel. It's just kind of, it's been my go-to heel recently, basically because it's quick and I've got it memorized. I mean, it's not necessarily, I've talked about my preference for heels before, but in case you haven't heard those. What do I want to say? My favorite heel is definitely like a heel flapping gusset construction with an eye of partridge heel, right? With the slip stitch reinforcing and alternating every other row where which stitch is getting slipped and which is getting knit, right? I find that to be the best wearing heel and the best fitting heel, but it takes a lot of yarn and it's time consuming. Whereas the Fish Lips Kiss heel doesn't take a ton of yarn. It's easy to memorize and it's just quick, right? It's real easy to get that part of the heel turned. So it's what I've been going with. But yeah, okay, other than these 2 pairs of socks, that's all the knitting I've done in the last 2.5 weeks. I did get my Dye Studio stash craft area a little better organized and more set up than it was before. So I did get more dyeing done last week. I was very grateful to be working in a basement last week when I was dyeing during that heat wave or heat dome that hit the Midwest for sure. I'm not sure about the rest of the country, but it was pretty brutal here. Yeah, being underground while dyeing was definitely helpful because it was still a reasonable temperature downstairs, even with all the burners on. But yeah, dyed up some stuff for the store, but also kind of had some fun playing around a little bit too. So let's see here. I'm not sure whether any of this stuff is gonna go in the store or not. Partly because most of it's lace weight and I'm not sure how much of an interest there is in lace weight stuff. If you're interested, let me know, and I will be more than happy to put it up in the store. I may keep some of it for myself too. I'm feeling the lace weight right now. I'm really itching to cast on something in the lace weight. Yeah, I may as well stop teasing and just actually show you. So let's see here. I've got these 2 gorgeous skeins, right? This is a nice steel blue sort of color, like a blue gray. This is my slate roof colorway, right? But this time on a lace weight, and this is, I'm trying to remember what my stats are for the lace weight that I've got. It's 875 yards for 100 grams, and then it's, I think, an 80-20 blend, I want to say, of superwash merino and silk. So it's super, super soft, very, very airy. You can see it's a 2-ply. I haven't knit anything out of it yet, so I'm not quite sure yet how it knits up, so I can't speak to that, but really excited about it. And then this gorgeous orange that I'm in love with too. All right. So I've got these 2, and I was thinking these 2 would go together, but now I'm not 100% sure, because then I also dyed up this bad boy. Ooh. This is my Chateau Neuf colorway on lace weight. Really excited about this one. I think it just turned out beautifully. You can see there are little pops of the green in there too. All right. It's so soft. I can't get over it. I don't know exactly why I decided to dye it up. I've had this bare yarn sitting in my bare yarn stash for probably a good month or so, and just haven't really looked at it, touched it. I've been kind of focused on order fulfillment and things like that when I'm dyeing recently, but decided to just kind of play around, get creative again in the kitchen. So yeah, I decided of all of my multicolored or sort of variegated colorways, that Chateau Neuf would probably be the one that best translates to a lace weight project. And then along with that, I've got another semi-solid. This one is like a really nice medium green color. It's got some pops of gray too from just where the dye naturally broke, which is kind of fun. I really have been enjoying just watching the single color dye process, because you still end up with these fun little like anomalies with it being a hand dyed product, right? It's not the solid sort of commercial yarn you expect, right? No matter what, even if it is just a single color, single dye in sort of an immersion bath, the yarn's still gonna pick it up differently. And just, yeah, it just ends up being really interesting no matter what you end up doing. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this one too. It doesn't have a name or anything like that. Not even necessarily sure if I'm gonna put it up in the store or not. But I have a really big desire right now to cast on a lace weight project. I'm thinking I want to do sort of one of those traditional Shetland shawls, right? The Hap shawls, I think they're called, HAP. Where you get like a solid, like the main body of this shawl is just solid garter stitch, either in like a square or a triangle, and then you get, I'm trying to think of the name of the lace pattern, but that sort of ripply lace pattern. I think it's like Old Shale or Feather and Fan or something like that. I don't know why, I just really, really want to cast that kind of project on right now, which is weird. It's been years, I think, since I last knit with lace weight yarn. I know there was like a period about, I'd say probably around like up till maybe like 2010, where I felt like most all of the lace shawl patterns on Ravelry were in lace weight yarn, and not so much fingering weight. So a lot of my early lace shawls that I knit up were in lace weight yarn, because that's just what the patterns called for, right? The fingering weight stuff I feel like came in later when people realized that they could get a lace shawl quicker. But I don't know, I just want to kind of go back to it. Pick that back up, you know? And I don't know, I feel like this could be just gorgeous. I don't know, I think I'd get a lot of wear out of this. I don't know if I'd want to pair it with this as a semi-solid or that. Maybe do all three. I don't know, part of me likes this combo. Oh yeah, there's darker purple sections too. I'm kind of holding that away from you. Like that. Do that and get more of the greens out of the Chateau Neuf. I don't know, we'll see. That I don't know if I could handle. I feel like that might be just a little too vibrant of a shawl for me. If I'm being completely honest. But that I kind of like as a combo. Even that, the green and the gray, it's kind of cool. The three of them together isn't bad either. I don't know. So if you either know of a really good sort of Hap style shawl pattern that you like, or have any opinions on color combinations out of these three yarns, I would love to hear it. Yeah, leave me a note, a little message in the comments below, or in the Ravelry group in the episode thread, as I just drop my yarn everywhere. So I've also been watching the cats just kind of traipse through there. I think both of them have now popped up. But yeah, any opinions would definitely be welcome. The other little bit of fun I had with dyeing during the heat wave was I was feeling a little bit obstinate, a little bit stubborn about the heat wave, and was feeling very much like it wasn't fair that there was a heat wave when I desperately just want it to be fall. I want sweaters, I'm sick of heat. I want the leaves to start changing, just like if it could be fall all year long, I'm that basic white girl. Like I want fall all year. That would be wonderful. And my inner hipster is also like, well, I liked fall before it was cool. If I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I was feeling a little salty about the heat wave and decided I wanted to dye up, come up with a new colorway that's a little bit more autumnal in feeling, because I feel like a lot of what I've been dyeing so far has been very spring and summer, which makes sense, right? That's the seasons we've been in. And I want to play around a little bit more with my dyeing technique that I used for this colorway. I don't think I want to do it in a cuddle. I think I want to switch to something else where I can get a little bit more control over the speckling, but this is definitely the prototype for more autumnal sort of colorway. It's kind of got this, the base color is somewhere between like a mustard gold color and like a mossy green, right? You get a little bit of both in there. And then it gets these pops of like a dark burgundy color, sort of like a wine color. There's some orange that pops in there and some blues and greens, right? And I don't know, I just feel like it kind of reminds me of a fall, of like walking through a corn maze or something like that, if I'm being super Indiana at the moment. Or, you know, walking through the woods, you know, in the middle of the fall when the leaves have changed, things like that. Right, maybe early fall, because there's still a good deal of green in there. But, right, or like when the corn is being harvested and all that. So that is what I was in the mood for. And yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna, if I end up putting this up in the store and making this like a repeatable returning colorway, I'm gonna want to play around with the technique a little bit more so that the blues and greens actually remain more speckled and less dispersed through the yarn. But I don't know, I kind of like it. It's growing on me. I liked it before, then I fell out of love with it, and now I'm liking it again now that I'm kind of revisiting it with fresh eyes. But yeah, so that was my fun little color experiment. So last knitting and fiber related thing I want to talk to you guys about before I move on to other life things and like things that have been going on with the house. I've been knitting a lot of socks recently. I said I want to cast on something in a lace weight. I also want to go the other direction and cast on something in DK, right? Kind of branching out slowly from fingering weight, right? Going one step in each direction. I've got a sweater's quantity of this yarn. This is Starry, which is a yarn out of Virginia. And I don't know, I used to know way more about this. I've had this sweater's quantity in my stash for 5 or 6 years now, right? Like it's deep stash that has managed to stay together and labeled miraculously. But I desperately want to knit a sweater out of this. I tried casting on a cable knit sweater with it a couple years back. And I don't know why, it just kind of sat in my stash in my project bin for a while and has just never gotten finished. And I've really just got like the bottom panel of a cardigan, right? So just a tiny little bit knit up that I will happily, you know, rip back. But yeah, I really want to use this yarn. It's kind of rustic, super sheepy. Like you can just feel that it's still got a lot of lanolin in the wool. And I mean, that's done on purpose. The company does that purposefully and I like it. But it's just this nice heathered brown. See the lighting, you can actually see that, right? Which I think would be gorgeous in either a cabled sweater or a sweater with just a little bit of really small lace or something like that. But I have spent hours playing around on Ravelry over the last couple months trying to find the right sweater pattern for it. And I mean, I've got more than a sweater's quantity. I think I've got 8 or 9 skeins of this, and they're, what is it? It's 3 ply, 4 ounces, 290 yards. Right there are the details there. So I've got a ton of this stuff, so I could do a lot. If you've got any good recommendations for a DK weight sweater, right, that you think would look nice in this yarn, or that you want to knit yourself or anything like that, again, I would love to hear your recommendations. And again, comment below or in the Ravelry group, I would love to hear it. But yeah, so that is really all the knitting related stuff that I've got this week. Like I said, most of my time has been spent either with Mr. Puppy Man, or getting the house in a more, in a better state. Especially because we had our first overnight guest this last weekend. Jordan's best friend and his wife came down to visit and spent the night. It was great having them. Yeah, it was so much fun. They came to France for our wedding with us, and so sweet. They knew, you know, we've been obviously in the process of moving in and getting adjusted, so they came down with a couple bottles of wine and a bunch of cheese and bread and stuff like that. So we hung out, we had our own little, oh, and an Orangina. They like ordered a case of Orangina, which we drank a ton of last summer while we were in France. So yeah, it was really great to just kind of hang out and get to catch up with them again. It's great that they're going to be so much closer to us now too. But yeah, so with all that going on, I mean, the house really has been the focus of my attention and not so much knitting. I know a couple people have asked, like, well, what I'm planning to do and things like that, since we moved up here for Jordan's work, for his job. And this semester, at least for the next couple months, I'm basically going to focus on housekeeping, right? Keeping the house, homemaking, all that kind of stuff. Staying home, working from home, obviously the Etsy store. But we'll see next semester if something maybe develops at the college or something like that. Maybe I've got some feelers out in the local school district too, so we'll see what's going on there. But since keeping home is kind of my priority at the moment, and this is something new for me, I, in typical Devin fashion, decided that I needed to do some research on what that means and what that looks like. I did not think this was a strange approach. This is what just seemed like the obvious thing for me to do would be. However, all of the non-academics, the normal people I've talked to about this, just kind of look at me and laugh a little bit. But I bought myself some books to do my research, and I've been going through them. I have how long is this thing? An 800-page book on the art and science of keeping house. It was all of 1 cent on Amazon. The shipping, I think, was like $3, but yeah, it's not like I went and spent $40 on this, but actually it's really helpful, so that's been fun. I've been going through and reading this. And again, in good academic fashion, the first thing I did was flip to the back when I got it and go through like the notes section, the index, the references. There is a list of sources. I don't know if you can see that. It's fantastic. It was written by a woman who is a lawyer, a philosophy professor, I want to say, and, you know, also a mom and a homemaker. So just kind of really going through like the nitty-gritty details of like, right now I'm on the section on meal planning and things like that. She's got a chapter on, you know, how to set up a weekly schedule and a yearly schedule for various cleaning and sort of that kind of tasks. There's a section on, she's got a smaller section on laundry in here in the main book, kind of going on over how do you clean different types of fabric, the nature of different kinds of fabric and materials and things like that. Obviously as a knitter, I've got some insights from that, but I mean, this is just not knowledge that I have, you know? I did not get this info from mom like I know some people do. That just wasn't part of my upbringing. So rather than just kind of figure it out as I go, because that's basically been my home maintenance sort of MO up until this point, I figure life will be a lot easier if I am a little bit more methodical about things. So yeah, the other one is just on laundry. Again, it's another 400 pages just on laundry. And yeah, laundry, really not my forte. To the point where like Jordan will not let me wash his clothes. I am that bad at it. Being short, it does not bother me if my clothes shrink a little bit. Jordan is tall. Jordan is a big guy. If his clothes shrink, it's a little bit more catastrophic and frustrating for him. Whereas, you know, when I grew up in a very short household. My parents are both short, my brothers are short, and my mom hates doing laundry. My parents don't own an iron because mom refuses to iron. It's just a thing that she hates doing, so she refuses to do it. And, you know, growing up, we all looked a little bit rumpled, but whatever, it wasn't that big of a deal. And mom would buy clothes, mom still buys clothes to this day, just a size too big, because she knows that it inevitably will shrink, and that's fine. Like, she would rather compensate for that than put the effort into sorting and paying attention to the temperature clothes are being washed at or things like that. Yeah, to each their own. Everyone has their own methods. So yeah, I decided it's time for me to learn. 'Cause, I mean, it's not like I never cleaned or anything like that before this. But I don't know. I feel like when you're working full days and going to school, you know, and doing all sorts of other things, I just, you know, my cleaning and cooking schedule has always kind of been haphazard. You know, things get done when they get done, and it's very much motivated by whatever I need at the moment. But if I'm home most of the day, right now, my tasks are primarily take care of the dog and get the house painted and everything put away and set up. But, you know, the whole thing is going to be painted and set up in the next couple weeks, and then what, you know? So yeah. I definitely would recommend these books if anyone is interested in them. They're both more practical sort of guides than like, here's how to make things real quick and efficient and make everything really beautiful. Like that's not really the point that she's trying to make with these. It's more, you know, how do you keep a properly stocked pantry? How long do things last for? What's the most efficient sequence of events when cleaning a bathroom or a bedroom, or, you know, what time of the year should you be doing this task or that task, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really, really fascinating. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Jordan thinks I'm crazy. And Jordan's been giving me a little bit of a hard time as he thinks it's almost anti-feminist of me. Whereas I don't feel that way. Right, I don't see it that way. I think it's more, yeah, it's the same approach that I take with my research or my teaching or literally anything else I do, right? If I'm gonna start something, start a project, or tackle a new concept or something, I wanna do my research on it and know the ins and outs so that I can do it, so I can fully understand it and do it the best that I can. That's just kind of how I approach things. So, if this is what I'm doing, that's what I'm gonna do. So, yeah. I think there are a couple more of them up on Amazon too, if anybody else is interested, and they are very reasonably priced. Apparently not a ton of interest, or at least the used ones are. And they're in good shape, so that's cool. All right, so figure now that that's done, I also wanted to show you guys real quick kind of where I'm at with the various painting projects and things. So I'm gonna stop here and do another little one of those walking tours through the house, kind of show you where I'm at with a couple different projects. And yeah, if that interests you, fantastic. I'm gonna sneeze in a second. If that doesn't interest you, yeah. I'm gonna have to redo this. This sneeze doesn't want to come. Oh, it's just making my eyes water. Huh. Oh my, okay. So yeah, so I'm gonna take you guys on a little bit of a walking tour, show you what I've been up to with the home improvements and things like that, mostly with painting. But if that interests you, fantastic. Stick around, and if it doesn't, that's fine too, and I will see you soon. Still no promises on weekly schedules yet, but I will see you soon for sure. Oh, before you leave, wait. Oh, I did want to say one last knitting related thing. I am going to be at Stitches this weekend up in Chicago, or in Schaumburg. There's a podcaster meetup. I think it's Saturday at 1. Oh, it's the sneeze that just will not actually happen. It's just plaguing me. But yeah, if you're... But yeah, so if you're gonna be at Stitches or in the Chicago area this weekend, yeah, I hope I see you there. That would be really great. I'd love to meet you guys, and that's exciting. I don't know what else to say. Yay, Stitches. All right, so to begin the tour, I'm gonna show you guys again the living room that still has some stuff on the mantle and fireplace that needs to get put away. This whole room is now finally painted, which is exciting. Yeah, the wheel is out. Get some spinning done soon. Yeah, my little command center is back, which is nice. That's where I was just recording. Hooray, my view. I love that view. We clearly need to do some weeding. Please excuse that. We've never had to do that before, really. So, yep. All right, living room, all painted. Very, very exciting. Super thrilled. That wall is getting tackled next, once my next, once the painting project I'm working on currently is done. But that, we're thinking is gonna be a giant chalkboard wall. We're really excited about it. And then the hallway is gonna get painted some sort of light color. Possibly the same light one that I'm gonna show you in the dining room. We've got the baby gate up so that the cats have a place they can escape puppy friend. Little rat toy on the ground. Doo, doo, doo. All right, and then through here, we have the dining room, right, which is my current painting project. Let's get some light in here. Whoop. All right, you can see that I've gotten 2 of the walls done, and it's just the palest blue-gray, right? Just enough contrast so that the white trim pops, right? Ooh, sorry for the finger there. But yeah. So, 2 more walls to do. You can kind of get the idea of the difference between what it was, just boring white, and what it is now. And then into our still messy kitchen. Not so much messy. We have a landing area here for stuff that needs to be gone through. But yeah, I'm working on keeping that relatively organized. And then we've got some new furniture, or new to us furniture, in here with Mr. Puppy Man. This was from Jordan's parents. It was originally his grandmother's, and it now belongs to us. Definitely more comfortable than the deck chairs we were sitting in before. And Ezra's a little carpet that he plops down on. Got a table in here now, which is nice. Ezra is napping. Sorry, little guy. Oh, hi, little friend. Yeah. We played fetch for a while out in the backyard, so he is good and tuckered out. You can see the number of tubs out here has decreased, which is exciting. I've been working on that. And then, yay, deck. So I wanted to show you guys this. So this, Michelle, Kevin's wife, brought, this is her, she did this painting, which I'm really super thrilled with, because it's actually a painting of the courtyard from the house we rented in France where we got married. And so that's where we would hang out all the time. The little house you can see there, that little building, is actually where Jordan and I stayed. Everyone else was in the main house, and then we got married under that tree. So, yep. And then the little caption there was from a mural inside the house that says, "En Provence, le soleil se lève 2 fois, le matin et après le sieste." So in Provence, the sun rises 2 times in the morning and then after a nap. So very cute. So yeah, really, really excited with these projects. Clearly have more moving to do, but that's turning out well so far. So the other saga I've been dealing with is this washer dryer. We bought these a month ago. It took a month for them to get delivered to us, and then another week for them to get installed and working, because we are on liquid propane, not natural gas, and we don't have a 220 hookup for an electric dryer in here. So we had to have a propane dryer, and that apparently was a lot to ask for. So, but it's here. I can do laundry. That is my plan for the rest of the day, which is very exciting. That book will come in handy, let me tell you. I've never been more excited to do laundry in my life. But yeah, so that's where we're at here, and then I'm gonna go in the basement and show you guys, talk you through the setup down there too. Real quick, before taking you into the basement, I also got the little entryway set up. I've got a coat rack to hang up in here too, but yep, got the front door there, that, and then hung up the barometer that Jordan got while we were in France last summer at a antique market, which is kind of cool. So, old working barometer, which is exciting, and on to the basement. All right, and now you can see how I've kind of reorganized a little bit my dye setup. So I still have the stoves and the sink and everything there. They're my sock walkers. But I've hung up a clock. I've got that tray down, or that kitchen cart down here now. Right, my stash and all that good stuff. But kind of the more exciting part is my knitting books are out, and I've got my computer set up and ready to go. So that is now where I edit my podcasts. But as you can see, well, there is natural light, which is exciting for a basement. Oh, I've got some of your guys' cards and things hanging up there. Right, dyes and things set there. Oh, I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, so while, it's nice to work down here, and like I've got plenty of light down here for, working and dyeing and eventually knitting. Just not enough light to podcast with. So, yep. Eventually, though, that'll be taken care of. See, the other, this has become now the secondary sort of landing zone for our bins and boxes. We also have this old phone booth, which came out of Jordan's parents' house. They brought it last week. it actually works, or at least will work. We've got a little bit of an issue with the dial tone or something like that right now, but yeah. Just an old Indiana Bell phone booth, which is kind of fun and cool. And then through here we've got what's going to be Jordan's office. We've got a nice big desk. He's got his 2 monitors up. And then this desk actually I refinished a couple years back. Fortunately it's kind of dark down here. But it's probably from the 1950s, I think. And it's just solid wood. And we bought it from IU, from Indiana University, from their surplus store a couple years back for $30. So if any of you live near a big university, I would definitely check and see if they have any kind of surplus store where you can buy things, because you can get a pretty good deal on some quality stuff. Yeah, it's a little dark over there and loud from the furnace, so yeah, figured I'd walk away. But yeah, just sanded it down and refinished it a couple of summers ago, and now that is Jordan's area. So yeah, that is what I've been up to other than knitting and getting all this set up. So